Hey guys, Davin here, getting back to you with another YouTube video. Today I am going to be installing headers on a Lexus IS 300. So yeah, just figured I'd make a nice install video. I've never actually done this before, but I'll just take you guys along and show you guys how I would do it. Pretty nice looking car though. Really like these taillights. The factory ones aren't like that. So I'm gonna get this thing lifted up. I'll show you guys the headers and go from there. It probably will end up being a bit of a pain in the ass to get it done, but all right, so here we are with the headers unboxed. This is the kit we're using. Very nice looking headers. They're obviously Cerakoted, so should do well with the heat management. It's PPE. But yeah, very nice quality so far from what I've seen. Looks like the kit comes with extended harness for O2 sensors, donut gaskets for the exhaust to bolt up to the stock one, and some hardware for the OEM exhaust to these flanges here. All right, y'all, so I've got the car lifted up in the air. I've got the top 3 header bolts unbolted on each side. Air box is off, battery is out. I'm getting cut a little bit. And yeah, I'll start going at it from the bottom now. When I say the top 3 bolts on each side, I'm talking the header studs. There's 3 on each side. One right there, one back there, one back there, each side. Another thing you will have to unbolt is your dipstick tube here, just the upper dipstick, real simple. One bolt holding it in, 12 millimeter, and that just pops right out of there and gets out of the way. You also have to unplug the 2 O2 sensors. Not too big of a deal. And here's the 6 bolts that I took off the top. They're 6.12 millimeter, and same with the dipstick tube. So not a big deal. As far as the undercarriage goes, you can get to the bottom 3 bolts on each side fairly easy from the side here. Not directly underneath, but kind of to the side. You see the tire right here, lower control arm, and you can get to those 1, 2, 3. I'll just zoom in on them real quick for you guys. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And the other side is a little tighter on this side. I will show you guys the driver's side a little bit later, but you're also gonna have to unbolt the exhaust here. There's little brackets holding it on. You'll have to unbolt it there just so you can have enough room to get your old exhaust manifolds out of there. So I'm just gonna take the front wheels off of here. I don't know if you have to take this side off. Definitely have to take this side off for more easier access. All right, guys, so I've been grinding away on this header install, but I've got the passenger side put in. I've got most of the bolts on. I just wanted to show you where the dipstick bolts onto. It's just right there. I did have to take the motor mount off of the driver's side just so I didn't have to unbolt the steering shaft. The instructions say there's a bolt that you have to take out right about there. That's wrong for this car. The steering shaft is obviously a little bit different on this car than the instructions. I had to unbolt the exhaust and take the heat shields off so I could get the driver's side out. The passenger side just slips right on out of there. There's the motor mount that I had to take out. Here's the passenger side though. Like I said, heat shield has to come out on both sides. And that heat shield just goes right up in there. They say to remove that factory heat shield. I unbolted the mid pipe there. I couldn't get the O2 sensor off of that side. I unbolted the O2 sensor off of the passenger side. And I didn't have to remove the mid pipe completely, but you do have to take this bracket off if you want it to drop down far enough to get easy access to the exhaust there. And then I did also unbolt the drive shaft for the all-wheel drive system. And that you have to unbolt that to get the driver's side out. Passenger side is easy. Driver's side is much harder to get out. All right, guys, it's a new day. Making some good progress. So I've got the headers in and they are tightened down. Definitely not an easy header install. Definitely take it to a professional if you are a beginner, because it's definitely a tough job. I ended up having to fully remove the drive shaft to get the driver's side headers in, or the header, and the passenger side, fairly easy. Driver's side, much harder. There is one bolt that's under this runner here that was an absolute nightmare to get tight. But I eventually got it after probably 3 hours of cussing last night. So yeah, I'm just getting it buttoned back up now. Got the battery back in. Gonna throw the air box on. I unbolted this just so I could move it out of the way. I moved this harness up out of the way. And then I put the O2 sensor extension harness on this side. This side I'll just get to from the bottom of the car. And then I still need to take the O2 sensors off of the stock headers, put them on the aftermarket, or the exhaust manifold, and then put them on the headers. Plug it all in and get the exhaust bolted back up. On this side, I unbolted this bracket here and took this bracket off down there. I have a metal zip tie holding this fuel line further away from the exhaust. There is a little plastic piece that goes right here on the stock setup, but I just didn't like how close it was. I mean, it's pretty close. They're Cerakoted. I'm sure it'll be okay, but I just wanted to be safe there, and I've got it zip tied there, and well, you can see right there. All right, air box is on. Got the map sensor clip there, this PCV hose, and another clip there, and of course your hose clamp. Another thing, this battery is kind of hard to get out. It's got a little connector there, which I'll get that put back on here in a sec. And then there's a little clip there that just clips onto the battery cover thing. It just goes around the outside of the battery. Can't remember if I mentioned this, but I did have to take this motor mount out just so I could get to one of the bolts up there a little bit easier. I'm not sure if that's totally necessary, but it made things easier for me. If you don't have a lift, you'll just have to use a jack and just unbolt it. And I just jacked right here. Didn't cause any issues. Or if you have a jack like that for under the lift, that's what I used. All right, guys, so I went ahead and cleaned up the mating surfaces for the exhaust. Got my O2 sensors on. O2 sensor, I have it zip tied up there. Just being mindful of the heat from the headers. Drive shaft is back in. Kit came with these donut type gaskets. They just go up in there. Can't see very well. Just like that, they fit pretty well on there. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Not much louder with the factory catback. Don't hear any leaks. Well, the customer came and got the car. Alright, you guys, that's going to do it for the video. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you'd like to support my brand and business, I do have some merch. It's all hand screen printed and embroidered by me. I'm working on a website, but for now, you can get a hold of me with the email on the screen or at GapMat Performance on Instagram or Facebook. Please like, subscribe, shoot me a comment on what you think, and remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
Oh, hell, Ricky, I was high when I said that.